that article, or those stories rather, made it to Dallas, Texas, where Bishop T.D. Jakes was at the time, and his CEO or CMO, one of the CMs, whatever. Anyway, so got to one of them, his execs, and they called us to come to Dallas for an interview because they were looking for a youth pastor.
Okay.
That's when stuff really got real for me, because I was like, but this is like really going to be something. But I was like, well, he's still going to just do youth ministry, so I'm okay with that. Wasn't the scene. It wasn't like full-fledged. He wasn't running the church, you know? Now, I'll never forget that. I will always be grateful to Bishop Jakes and Mrs. Jakes. So let me just throw that out there. Always, 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 forever be grateful for them allowing me to be on their platform. They didn't have to.
Yeah, for sure.
And started doing full-time evangelism. So he was gone a lot. And I didn't so much mind that. Gave us just some space. You know, we were having problems in Boston. So we moved to Dallas. You know, I thought things would probably get better. And they would, and then they wouldn't, and they would, you know, so just like this push and pull kind of dynamic. When he went on the road, it was like great because he wasn't there. It was peace in the valley, honey. I want him to reject me. But when it came to being faithful and things like that, because of what my parents went through, I was like, oh no, I have zero tolerance for that. So I confronted him. I confronted the husband of the wife that he was having an emotional affair with, because she was in a whole different state. So all of those things. And then that went away. And then Denver was where all the crap hit the fan. So it didn't happen right. Well, no. So 2010, February, March of 2010, he gets installed. They have a huge installation service. I mean, the who's who of bishopdom came to the service, laying hands on us and all of the things, right? And 3 weeks later, it went kaboom. I say boom for that one. It went kaboom 7 years later. It went boom then. And we ended up separated. I ended up living in like an extended stay. He didn't like it. That's when I got really vocal. And so I incriminated myself.
Okay, how so?
So I wanted to take my life because I was like, this is just not working. I don't think this is going to ever change. So I called 911 and I asked for somebody to come get me because I didn't trust myself driving myself to a hospital. I didn't even know really where to go. I was like, I need some psychiatric help. And I knew that much about myself that I was not afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
But then it turned into me getting in the back seat of a police car. They handcuffed me. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm just telling y'all the story about the fight. Like I was so trusting and green. Like I was really naive. I didn't know how the system worked. You know, I didn't realize I was telling on myself. I'm telling the whole story, but in so doing, I incriminated myself.
Wow. They
take me to a hospital. I get a psych eval. And they were like, yeah, because I was full on panic attack, anxiety, all of the attacks. I was having them. And they were like, yeah, she needs further evaluation. So they took me to a mental health facility where I stayed for a whole week. And one day I just all of a sudden just said randomly, and it scared her. I was like, are you having an affair? Just like that. And of course it was like, no, I'm not having no affair. And then I named the person. Yeah, I named the person. This person was very close to us. She was our goddaughter. I was the mother of the bride in her second wedding.
Wow.
We paid for her wedding. Very close to us. And she was married, had a kid. She was married. And so I named her. I won't name her on this show, but I named, yeah. But of course it was like, no, I'm not with her. She's not my type. Okay. But today he's married to her. But anyway, we'll get to that later.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And after denial, but then he ends up marrying her.
Once a month. And I thought he was fine. I'm going to be honest with you, right? He's 4 years older than me. I was like, dang, he can get it, right? Nothing else to it. Okay. He was it. I thought he was attractive. He had been in college. he was at Morehouse, and so he would come home and preach in the summer. And he was there rehearsal, and I was like, bet, like, this is the hood side of me, right? I'm saved. I'm not all the way saved. So I met him, and he just seemed to do things that I loved. He was crip walking in the parking lot one day, and I thought, this guy is kind of cool. Like, at first I thought I was going to blow up because he was so spiritual, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we met at rehearsal. We started to get to know each other in a group setting. He was leading and teaching songs, and next thing I know, we had a certain meeting where everybody was supposed to go, the whole praise team and band, and everybody canceled but me and him. And that was our first date.
Wow.
So we went out. It was amazing. I said, yes, we got them all out the way. Out of here. Okay. And I asked him, I said, how come everybody has your phone number but me? And he said, oh, you don't have my number? So he gave me his number, and I thought of a reason to call him. And it was just very magical to me. I felt like Jack, who got the ticket to the Titanic. It was from this poor background with these high, big dreams, and this guy who had this family that seemed like they were very well off. They had the St. John knits and the 500 Mercedes Benz coming to church, and they were very well known in our city. And I thought, oh my goodness, I finally have the life. I'm looking from the outside in. I am doing no checks for inside. I met this man, and I told him, listen, we started dating. We saw each other every day from that moment. I met him, like, we started dating in August, my birthday in November. He flew me to Hawaii for my birthday. I had never been on a plane.
Wow.
Limousine waiting for me. You understand? We're 19,
Right.
22. And as you know, I was done.
Right.
As you know,
Absolutely.
I was all in. I'm yours. Whatever you want. And I jumped off the cliff completely, 100%. I was all in. Finally, I had love. I never asked the question, was I loved? I wanted to love you. I'm going to choose to love you. I'm going to give you everything. It was completely one-sided. We get married. We're all in this church. Everything seems to be, I think, about a year and a half. We had, I got pregnant, finished nursing school. I was working as a registered nurse, got pregnant. And when my son was 7 weeks old, I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. So it was 2 years back to back.
Oh my God.
And I am an overachiever. I was like, bet, we're going to get this done. I was checking stuff off the box. I was changing diapers. 1, 2, let's go. I was working at the church when I wasn't working as a nurse, raising 2 kids, and I was doing pretty much everything by myself. I didn't think anything was wrong with that. I had immense capacity. I thank God for the opportunity. I was just happy to be what I thought was loved at the time. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. About a year in, I thought, holy shit, oops.
You fine.
It's okay.
Oh man. I couldn't go back though. I knew without a shadow of a doubt, between 6 months to a year in, Houston, we have a problem.
Man.
Wow.
But I had already done all this public stuff. Everybody had known. It was such a great family. From the outside looking in, it seemed great. So I made a promise. You know what? Whatever it takes, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. Everything. We got through 6 whole months. And finally, I said, you know what? I don't want to die holding all these secrets. I just started. And I went home, and my ex-husband would ask me after every therapy session, everything we talked about. And I would tell him, I had no secrets. I told 100%. If he could blink at me and I knew, I better fess up. If I spent too much money on a credit card or anything, I would tell it, because I was so afraid that I would not be loved. I didn't do everything right.
Yeah.
So I couldn't bear being dishonest. So I would tell him everything we talked about. So he was always up to date. And we got to this point where I started saying to my therapist, this is what happened to me. And he go, that's when I knew something was really wrong. Best thing ever in my life to stand up for myself and to be an advocate. The first time I ever chose myself in my entire life was filing for a divorce. And I was 40 years old. I was 39. That was the first time I had chosen myself. I would give everything to my children, everything to the church, everything to everybody else, and make it look really good on the outside. And on the inside, I was dying. And before we got to the point of filing, I just woke up. I started to see things in my life and marriage that were absolutely 100% unacceptable for me, for God, for anyone. And I said, we have to go to therapy. I was working at the church at this point. I had left nursing, and I was no longer independent financially. And I decided, well, maybe we need to cut the church part if we're going to have a marriage. Knowing everything I know, I'm willing to work with him. Let's get rid of the church. Maybe that's causing a little bit too much. I felt like in my pie of life, my slice was very small. I said, I had to give myself more. So we got to cut some things out. I'm not going to be able to do the church anymore. And for him, that did not work. That was